So you're thinking about moving to Massachusetts. Here's some fun facts. Did you know that the Boston Marathon is the longest running marathon in history? Did you know that the first Thanksgiving was held in Plymouth, Massachusetts in 1621? Or here's another fun thing to know. My mother always said when she met a Harvard guy, I'm reminded of the line, you can always tell a Harvard man, but you can't tell him much. But if you're here, you're probably not thinking about Harvard or Cambridge or Boston. We're going to talk about the rest of Massachusetts. So in this video, I'm going to give you the top 10 things that you should know before you move to Massachusetts. I've been in Massachusetts my whole life, over 50 years. I'm a real estate investor and developer, and I've been a realtor for the last 20 years. So I love helping people find out about my home state and the different cities that are available and what it's like to live here. Hope you enjoy. I'm Jane. I'm a realtor in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and this channel has all the information you're going to need about different towns in Massachusetts, trends, and what it's like to live here. I release a new video each week, so hit the subscribe button, and if you're thinking about moving here, feel free to reach out as I would love to help you. The number one thing to know if you are moving to Massachusetts is to keep Boston in mind. We have world-class hospitals, universities, tech careers, and bioscience jobs. We have top-notch sports. We have a major airport. And now when you live in the metro area, you're going to see traffic and you're going to see some high prices for real estate. And if you want more information about what it's like to live in Boston and greater Boston suburbs, check out some of my other videos. But today we're going to talk about the rest of the state. One con of Massachusetts is that our infrastructure is quite old. Basically, we have very old roads and bridges. So usnews.com in a recent report gave our infrastructure a grade of 42 out of 50 states. One of the things I love about my home state is its beautiful natural resources. All of our towns have beautiful town centers and a lot of green space. But one of the great things about Massachusetts is the western part of the state is quite rural and beautiful. We have beautiful rivers and mountains, there's ski resorts, there's hiking trails, and beautiful town centers. So a great thing to do is to check out some of the smaller villages in Western Mass, like Lenox, which is the hometown of Boston Symphony Orchestra's summer home, which is called Tanglewood, which also has other fun concerts with all different styles of music, and Stockbridge, which Norman Rockwell made famous with his covers on the Saturday Evening Post. So some of the fun times that I remember going to Tanglewood is going to see the Beach Boys when I was a kid, and my parents and their friends always went to see the Symphony Orchestra when they were there in the summer. But you can see any kind of music. There's a Canyon Ranch resort out there, and there's some really cool museums. Edith Wharton's famous home, The Mount, is there, and it's almost like a celebrity vacation place for people trying to get away from the city. Like Deval Patrick, our former governor, has a home there. I haven't been there yet. One time my family was taking a trip out there when I was a kid, and one of my sisters went forgetting her shoes. So it wasn't like today where you can go get a pair of flip-flops at the convenience store. And I remember everything was closed and we were having a hard time finding a place to get her some shoes to go into a restaurant. My husband is a big hiker and skier. So he has hiked or skied all of the mountains in New England pretty much. Mount Greylock is the highest mountain in Massachusetts. That's about 2 hours away from Boston to the west. So he's hiked that and skied that. And a couple hours north to New Hampshire is the Presidential Range. There's a whole bunch of mountain peaks, and he and his buddies have hiked just about all of them. A great thing to check out are the Appalachian Mountain Trail huts. So if you are into hiking, there's some great places that you can stay, and they give you dinner and a place to sleep and breakfast, and they put on a little show and send you off on your way. Basically, hike from peak to peak, from place to place, so you don't have to carry stuff like tents and bedding. I actually even went to one or two with my husband and my kids. I'm not much of a hiker, but it was still really fun. Mount Washington is famous for having the world's worst weather. There's lots of hiking trails, and some parts of it you can ski, but there's other ski trails like Sunapee in New Hampshire and Killington, which is a big mountain in Vermont, all just 3 hours away. And then for other beautiful places to go, I love Portland, Maine. It's this really kind of a fun, gritty harbor city town that's actually gotten quite popular. And Newport, Rhode Island, which is another beautiful little city by the sea, which has beautiful mansions to tour, from the Vanderbilt mansion from 100 years ago. One thing that makes our towns unique is our rich cultural and historic heritage. And I think this is fun. This little depot in Wayland was the train station, which is no longer open. And now it's a consignment shop that's along the Central Wayside Rail Trail. Super cute. And in my hometown, just around the corner from my house, the old train station is now a Cafe Nero. So that's pretty typical. All of our towns are developed around the churches that were settled in the 17 and 1800s, and then also the railroad that came right through the state to Boston. So it gives each of our towns a really nice colonial New England village vibe. If you want to head a little bit south to the aforementioned First Thanksgiving, that would be Plymouth Plantation, which is now called the Plymouth Patuxent Museums. But it's a really nice place to learn about our early Massachusetts history. It's a really cool place to learn about our Native American history and heritage. In my video about moving to Boston, I have a lot more information about Paul Revere and Lexington and American Revolution history, so check that out. Our diverse economy brings diverse people. So I am fortunate to count among my friends people from Asia, from South America, from Europe, and typically they're coming here for careers. And in Massachusetts, we have one of the most highly educated populations in the country. For example, 45% of our population have college degrees and 20% even have a graduate degree. And you probably know about most of our famous Boston hospitals like Mass General and Brigham and Women's. However, it extends throughout the state. UMass Medical Center is in Worcester, and you can find excellent healthcare all the way out to the west. You have access here to top universities and colleges. Did you know that our top university's home campus is in Amherst, Massachusetts, which is about 2 hours and 15 minutes from Boston? It's part of a 5-college consortium, which includes Amherst, 2 women's colleges, Mount Holyoke and Smith, and also Hampshire College, which was started in 1970, which was an alternative education college, which is a really unique place. So if you are moving to Massachusetts and you're looking for a new home, here's number 9. So in my town, we have everything from a few homes that were built in the 1700s to many that were built in the 1800s. I, for example, live in an 1878 Victorian, and there are houses on my street that were built in 2015. So that's pretty indicative of the variety that you'll find in all of our towns. You've probably heard that our real estate is expensive. In Boston, the median in our state is in the 500,000s, and the median in Boston proper is in the 800,000 range. The average home price in Wellesley, which we're about 14 miles west of Boston, is actually $1.8 million. However, regardless of the price that you're shopping for, I can find you a community in reasonable commuting distance of where you want to go in the price point that you need to be at. For example, I just helped a family find a pretty spacious home in Andover for about $880, and I was just checking out some over 55 new construction condos in Westboro that were actually in the 5s. So everything's possible. You might just have to consider areas a little further out from Boston to get under $750,000. If you're thinking about moving to Massachusetts, please reach out. I'd love to help you. So what did you think? Can you think of some pros and cons that I might have missed? Please leave a note in the comments. And thanks for watching.